I am continuing my reading, and what I'm doing in this series is read through the entire standard works of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This consists of the Bible, the Book of Mormon, the Doctrine and Covenants, and the Pearl of Great Price. I am reading in a chronological order of events, not according to publication or volume, so I will be skipping around a little bit as I move along. Right now, I am reading in the Book of Judges, but I am near the end. I have skipped to the end, and we will go back to the middle later on. Right now, I'm in chapter 18. Let's go. That's it. Danites send men to seek an inheritance. They take Micah's images and priest, win Laish, and set up idolatry. In those days there was no king in Israel, and in those days the tribe of the Danites sought them an inheritance to dwell in, for unto that day all their inheritance had not fallen unto them among the tribes of Israel. And the children of Dan sent of their family 5 men from their coasts, men of valor from Zorah and from Eshtaol, to spy out the land and to search it. And they said unto them, Go, search the land. Who, when they came to Mount Ephraim, to the house of Micah, they lodged there. When they were by the house of Micah, they knew the voice of the young man, the Levite. And they turned in thither and said unto him, Who brought thee hither? And what makest thou in this place? And what hast thou here? And he said unto them, Thus and thus dealeth Micah with me, and hath hired me, and I am his priest. And they said unto him, Ask counsel, we pray thee, of God, that we may know whether our way which we go shall be prosperous. And the priest said unto them, Go in peace. Before the Lord is your way wherein ye go. So they reckon the Danites are searching for an additional inheritance because they didn't get everything that they were supposed to. Now, this migration, this episode of the Danites moving out, it is mentioned. I can't remember if it's in Joshua or in Judges that they mention this. I think it's in Joshua now. I may have said it was in Judges earlier, but I'm actually thinking it was in Joshua. When they were separating out the inheritances. Yeah. Now, this may have been a second time for him, but I think it's the same thing. But we still really don't know when it happened. It's mentioned in Joshua, and it's talked about here in Judges, but we're not given any specific information as to when it happened. But they come here, they lodge with Micah, and they recognize the Levite. Now, did they recognize him personally? I doubt it, because he was from Bethlehem in Judah, and they're the Danites. But they probably recognized his accent, the way he spoke, and they realized he was from Judah, and that's why they were questioning. Verse 7. Then the 5 men departed and came to Laish, and saw the people that were therein, how they dwelt careless after the manner of the Zidonians, quiet and secure, and there was no magistrate in the land that might put them to shame in anything. And they were far from the Zidonians, and had no business with any man. And they came unto their brethren to Zorah and Eshtaol, and their brethren said unto them, What say ye? And they said, Arise, that we may go up against them, for we have seen the land, and behold, it is very good. And are ye still? Be not slothful to go and to enter to possess the land. When ye go, ye shall come unto a people secure, unto a large land, for God hath given it into your hands, a place where there is no want of anything that is in the earth. So they find the place of Laish, and I believe this may be the same place. In Joshua, they talk about Leshem, probably the same place. And they're careless like the Zidonians. They don't even have a proper government. Easy to conquer them, let's go get them. Now remember, the Levite told them that the Lord would be with them, but the Levite's not exactly being faithful to the Lord, so we shouldn't trust that he's actually speaking with any real prophecy. He's probably just telling them what they want to hear. But anyways, verse 11. And there went from thence of the family of the Danites out of Zorah and Eshtal, and out of Eshtal, 600 men appointed with weapons of war. And they went up and pitched in Kirjath-jearim in Judah. Wherefore they called that place Mahane Dan unto this day. Behold, it is behind Kirjath-jearim. And they passed thence unto Mount Ephraim, and came unto the house of Micah. So the men came out of the two cities and kind of, they didn't fortify, they came together. That was their staging ground. Now they're marching out to war, and they're passing through the land passing through Micah's house. So, verse 14. Then answered the 5 men that went to spy out the country of Laish, and said unto their brethren, Do ye know that there is in these houses an ephod, and teraphim, and a graven image, and a molten image? Now therefore consider what ye have to do. And they turned thitherward, and came to the house of the young man the Levite, even unto the house of Micah, and saluted him. And the 600 men appointed with their weapons of war, which were of the children of Dan, stood by the entering of the gate. And the 5 men that went to spy out the land went up, and came in thither, and took the graven image, and the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image, and the priest stood in the entering of the gate with the 600 men that were appointed with weapons of war. And these went into Micah's house, and fetched the carved image, the ephod, and the teraphim, and the molten image. Then said the priest unto them, What do ye? And they said unto him, Hold thy peace, lay thine hand upon thy mouth, and go with us, and be to us a father and a priest. It is better for thee to be a priest unto the house of one... Is it better for thee to be the priest unto the house of one man, or that thou be a priest unto a tribe and a family in Israel? And the priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod and the teraphim and the graven image, and went in the midst of the people. So they turned and departed, and put the little ones and the cattle and the carriages before them. So they come to Micah, and they say, Hey, he's got some idols here. Let's take him. So they rob Micah. They pillage, steal everything. They don't kill him, but they steal all of his stuff. And when the Levite that was hired to be his priest objects, they just say, just come join us. We'll pay you more We'll pay you more. You'll have greater honor being the priest to more people. And the priest Micah offered to pay the priest. The priests aren't supposed to get paid. They had their inheritance in the 48 cities, and they received the tithing of the people. They weren't supposed to get a private income. So we already see this Levite is not, he is not following the laws of God. Micah was not following the laws of God, but this Levite is somewhat greedy for fame and wealth. And when the Danites promise him greater honor and greater wealth, he abandons Micah. He has no loyalty to Micah. He is only hired. And so whenever somebody comes to hire him, he leaves. But nobody in the story is really justified in anything they're doing. Micah is setting up idolatry. The Levite is accepting idolatry and taking an income, and then just abandoning the person that hired him. But at the same time, the Danites are just robbing a guy. Nobody in this story is good. But let us continue. Verse 22. And when they were a good way from the house of Micah, the men that were in the houses near to Micah's house were gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they cried unto the children of Dan, and they turned their faces and said unto Micah, What aileth thee, that thou comest with such a company? And he said, Ye have taken away my gods which I made, and the priest, and ye are gone away, and what have I more? And what is this that ye say unto me, What aileth thee? And the children of Dan said unto him, Let not thy voice be heard among us, lest angry fellows run upon thee, and thou lose thy life with the lives of thy household. And the children of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw that they were too strong for him, he turned and went back unto his house. And they took the things which Micah had made, and the priest which he had, and came unto Laish, unto a people that were quiet and secure, and they smote them with the edge of the sword, and burnt the city with fire. And there was no deliverer, because it was far from Zidon, and they had no business with any man, and it was in the valley that lieth by Beth Rehob. And they built a city, and dwelt therein, And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born unto Israel. Howbeit the name of the city was Laish at the first. And the children of Dan set up the graven image, and Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, he and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of the captivity of the land. And they set them up Micah's graven image, which he made all the time that the house of God was in Shiloh. So Dan sets up their idol worship there. They steal all of his stuff, and so Micah gathers up his friends, and they follow the Danites. They're going to try and get it back. And the Danites just turn around and say, what do you think you're doing? He goes, what do you think? You stole my stuff. I want it back. And they said, look, don't even talk to us or we're going to kill you. And when he realizes he doesn't have enough men to fight an army of 600, he turns back, very sad that he lost all of his stuff. So the Danites, and I was right, yes, this is the story of the taking of the same story that's talked about in Joshua, because they named the city Dan. And that tells us it's the same city. So, but again, none of this is good. Everything in this story, and every actor in this, every character in this story is being wicked. Nobody is righteous. And this is showing us just how far Israel falls when they don't have good leadership. And it's really kind of how most cultures eventually fall into corruption when they don't have good leadership. So when you had good judges, the people were good. When you didn't have good judges, the people fell into wickedness. We got idolatry, we got false priests, we got robbing and pillaging, we got threatened murder. None of this is good. Now, just quickly, Laish, it says they were at quiet and secure, meaning they were at peace. They had business with no one, meaning they didn't trade. They were a self-contained, self-sustained people. But they were related to the Zidonians and apparently had some kind of treaty with the Zidonians, but were too far away to get word to the Zidonians soon enough to protect them from the Danites. Just wanted to mention, that's what this is all talking about. But the story, and the next one we read when we get into 19 through 21, chapters 19 through 21, that's even worse. That's Israel at its very lowest. But this does show us that Israel during the time of the judges was not a righteous people. You had some heroes, some great men who led Israel, some great women who led Israel, who were judges. And when they were judges, they kept the people honest. They kept the people faithful. But without those good leaders, the people fell away very quickly and pretty far. So we're going to leave that here, and I will see you in the next one.